All right, guys, we're here peeking once again, and we're gonna skate this little ledge right here. 50/50s is today's focus. Now, the way you go about progressing to a 50/50 really depends, you know, from skater to skater, and also how long you've been skating, how comfortable you feel just riding around, and stable, right? So with all that in mind, take this, I guess, information as, how do you say this? Like, as general as possible. You really have to apply your circumstance, your skating history, and I guess, or skating experience, right? So assuming you're in a position where you can ride a board and kind of go straight, right? Where you can really stabilize yourself by having both your feet on the board in the right place and not being like this, so wide stance, or not being so how do you say this, like very
narrow,
or what is, damn, I'm blanking.
Closed in,
just like, yeah, with your feet
tight.
close together, tight, you know. If you're like this or like this clearly shows you're very uncomfortable, and this shows you're very like scared of just narrowing down your stance to basically waist width, I'd say. So basically, assuming you have this down, when you approach a 50/50, I highly suggest doing it on a ledge that has no wax, right? Because if you're scared of getting on here, slipping out because you don't feel balance and you want to get a good feel, well then look for a sidewalk, look for a ledge, and start there. So here we have this, right? Personally, what I would do, damn, this is so messy.
There's one over there.
Okay, let's go over there. This one, right?
No, the one over there.
Okay. So essentially what I'm gonna do is pretty much feel out the 50/50 in a stationary stance.
Right here.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So before I even ollie on, right? You could also try to ollie on if you're not, scared of that, or you're already above this, but I wanna feel how my weight is supposed to sit into the grind. So chances are, like I said, you're not gonna wanna land so narrow stance, or in a stance where you're so wide, right? Because when you ollie, chances are you're gonna land waist width. So like I said, you wanna feel out how you're supposed to be, and generally, come closer. Generally, the way you land is engaged at the hips so that the balls of your feet are applying that pressure. A lot of people suggest that when you get on, you're locking on with your heels applying pressure, but I'm just gonna say it, that's like not the way to do it. The way you want to do it is to be controlled of how you're applying the weight from the forefoot. The forefoot is basically the ball of your feet, as many people call it, to your toes. So you want to control it from this part. Pretend this is the palm of your feet, this is the toes. You want to control that pressure application with this part of your foot, right? Because that's where you can really pop from, and also just lock it in as you go. So now that we got that covered, if you're comfortable ollieing on, your goal is just to land in a way where you I guess are popping and landing parallel to where you started. So basically, if you're doing this, you need some work with your ollies. Oh. And if you're doing this, you need some work with your ollies. So chances are you can also take a step back, find a line, draw a line with a chalk or anything, and just start doing it, right? Just practice that motion until you're very confident with it. And so once you get super confident with that, what you want to do is apply it here. You see how my hips are engaging so that I can pop? This is so that you are only relying on getting on and not popping, right? You don't want to feel like you're struggling to getting on the ledge. And if that's the case, bless you, if that's the case, you're probably choosing a ledge that's a little too high for you, right? So definitely make sure you're choosing something that's a good height for you. Again, let's go here. Okay, so once you're landing like this on a ledge, it could be very deceiving, but look at that back truck. It's not locked in all the way, right?
No.
No, okay. So that could be deceiving, and you really want to make sure that you're locking in where both trucks are pretty much, both wheels are pretty much hitting that ledge. So let's do it again. Show it from that angle. The down lock?
The back one, yeah. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So you just want to keep practicing where you feel that you're locking in on those wheels. But what I will say is you're not trying to apply the pressure again through the heels, because if you apply pressure through the heels but you don't get your trucks on the edge of the edge, you're gonna risk slipping out over here, especially if you land with your weight slightly on the heel side, over the heels or off the heel side of the board, right? So what I mean by that is if you're leaning back slightly like this, even if you're engaged but you're leaning back, this guy need to take some pause or something. I think the last 3 videos you've been coughing. Okay, so where was I?
Engage your hips, or
Okay,
even if you engage your hips.
Even if you engage your hips and you're slightly slanted towards the back or the front, you're gonna risk slipping in or slipping out. So it's super important that you're very comfortable with that ollie so that you're not kind of reaching, right? Or underestimating it. So it just should be a very gentle pop on. And to put it in simple words, if you feel like you're struggling getting onto the ledge, then maybe you're not ready for the 50 if it's a small one, right? You can do ride-on grinds. There's plenty of there's plenty of skate parks with ride-on grinds, so I'd also say experiment with that. With ride-on grinds, it's super easy to just get away with being so stiff with that 50, which is why we're going over ollieing onto it, right? That actually makes me think we should probably go to a skate park and kind of start how to 50-50 with that progression.
Oh, and they have curbs over there too, huh?
Because when I started skating, there was not really much ride-on grinds, at least that I knew of. So
what is it over there?
actually there's one over here.
That one's like,
What happened?
that one's so crunchy.
But there's one right.
At Hollenbeck?
Oh yeah, there's one at Hollenbeck, but there's one over here. But you see, this one kind of gets off of the ledge high, so maybe it's not something that many would be comfortable with. This also depends on your experience and stuff, but also if you're more comfortable going front side or back side. And I guess we didn't even say, but we're covering front side 50-50s because I feel like that's entry level for most people. But I'll definitely do back side. So look, a lot of people go into it very stiff, like this. And basically it makes it harder for them to really feel what you're supposed to be experiencing on a ollie on 50-50. So you want to make sure that as you're getting into the ride-on grind, if you want to start there, that you're starting in a squatted position where the balls of your feet are settling in your weight and locking yourself in there. So now that we kind of got that all covered and you're comfortable with those ollie on 50 stalls pretty much, frontside 50 stalls, we'll go to a ledge, or you'll go to a ledge that you that's a good height, you know, maybe it's even that ledge and you just want to wax it. So we're going to this one right here, right? We're going to this one.
Yeah.
And really, when I'm here, you know, some of us like to skate fast, some of us slow. Regardless, I think if you start this in a slow manner, it's always going to be a better approach, because you really understand how or where you're messing up pretty much. So I'd say very light push to start off with, and really make sure that you stop the 50 before you think about popping out, right? So stop, pop out. That's just so you lower the risk of getting hurt when you're trying this, right? But as you get comfortable with that, you just want to make sure that you're not approaching the ledge so, how do you say, diagonally, right? Because once you add speed to that, if you approach it diagonally and you miss the ledge like my front truck did there, it can go really bad for you, right? The more speed you add. And so I suggest starting out with like a board width, about a board width, a bit more apart. Go ahead from there. Right? And also, as you land, maybe you want to get on this side? Get on this side. As you land, once you get the 50 good and everything, think about landing parallel to the ledge, instead of landing where you come out like you want to do a half frontside 180. And that's only because you really want to understand that as you progress, you're going to add speed, and if you add speed but build this habit of going frontside, it's not really going to help you progress when you want to take it down hubbas or basically like bigger ledges, obstacles, because you're always going to have that subconscious feeling of like, oh, but I come out frontside, and you know, that's kind of going to make you hesitant to progress it to bigger obstacles.
Why do you think a lot of people come out frontside?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. So if you find yourself going frontside, but good question, if you find yourself going frontside, you really want to make sure that, for one, you're engaged, and two, when you come off, you're not leading that shoulder, you're not bringing that shoulder out so quickly. Instead, you want to keep it closed in, pretty much, if anything, pointed to the direction you're popping out or trying to. And that's kind of where you should land, because your shoulder is guiding, your lead shoulder is guiding your lead foot, right, in this situation. Because let's say we did want to do front 180. Let me do Wait, did you see the shoulders though?
No.
Okay, look at the shoulders. You can see that I was turning my shoulders before I even popped out. That's because the direction my shoulder is going is the direction my foot is gonna follow. But something that's also important, that needs to be elaborated on, but for the sake of this video, we're gonna make it super short, is as you ollie on to the 50, make sure you're stabilizing with your lead foot, your left one. That's your lead foot. Because as you pop, it's gonna be easier to transfer it to what then becomes your lead foot, which is your right one, because that's what's leading the direction when you land, right? Okay, so after you got all that down and you're getting comfortable with approaching the ledge parallel, and you can pop out, then that's when you just want to add speed. A lot of people progress up here, but I would suggest getting comfortable with your board and with the speed before you try to ollie up higher things. Or not, I wouldn't say maybe before, but before you get so fixated on it, you know? A lot of us get frustrated because we can't reach the next highest or the next biggest thing. But really, the board control is it's what's really gonna propel you to feel comfortable with any height and any obstacle when you're ready for it. Because if you just start to fixate on the bigger ledges and the bigger obstacles, you're pretty much gonna be hurting yourself, because you're not ever gonna not ever, but you're gonna be missing out on the gains that you can have with improved board control, right? So like practice. A good way to make it fun, if you're so used to doing the same ledge and it's easy for you, practice going little quick 50s. We'll keep practice. Stay there. Longer 50s, right? You just add speed. Right? You can practice doing 50s in a line. So maybe I'll do 20, and then or maybe you just do 180 out. Why not? But do it in a line, right? Make it fun for yourself. And once that becomes second nature, then you can take it on a bigger ledge, or a ledge like this, right? That goes on. Or a ledge like this. Oh, I didn't even lock on there. But point is, don't rush the how would I say, the goal to get higher and higher with the ledge, right? It's better to put the speed and board control before actually going bigger. But I just thought of a fun challenge for myself. I'm gonna 50 the whole thing. Alright? This is the first session of the day. How many minutes are we on?
17.
Okay, so this is gonna be the last thing. Before I do this, I want to say, when it comes down to learning any grind trick, you really want to feel like you're letting your weight settle into the grind instead of forcing it with your feet. So hopefully that kind of shows as I 50 this. Oh.
Damn. That was sick.
You see, I wasn't applying any pressure through my foot, so it kind of saved me. But if I was applying pressure, I was definitely going to slip this way, because I was kind of a little too heavy on my toes.
That ledge really needs you to be perfect, because it's
crunchy.
It's so crunchy, and it's so, what's it called?
Waxed.
No.
Slanted or like rounded.
Rounded.
Yeah, like this. It's harder to lock into these ledges for a long period of time. Sometimes, you know, it just depends. The trucks, the skater, all that stuff. But
I feel like these type of ledges where they're really rounded and crunchy really test how much you have control over your 50.
For sure, yeah. I think, and that's kind of what I mean with not rushing the height and all that stuff, because going longer distance, even with a smaller ledge, is really gonna help you do things like this, right? Because what happens if you're not comfortable with your board control, your speed, and then you come to a ledge like this, and you're like, I can 50, but I've never really got comfortable with the speed or board control. It's gonna become a bigger battle than it is getting onto the ledge, right?
Yeah.
So focus on the speed.
I actually fell and hit my head.
Your board control, you fell here?
Yeah.
Doing what, 50?
I was trying to 50 and I over popped and I slipped and I hit my head.
And chances are that you were like leaning over here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But let your weight settle in. Really dial in the board control and the speed. And yeah, that was kind of talking over about frontside 50-50s. in another video, I'll do backside 50/50s. Let me know if you need any clarification with what I've mentioned, or if you have anything specific to your situation that's kind of hindering you from actually doing one comfortably. This also applies for people who have a 50/50 but they want to improve it, so definitely take good note of letting your weight settle in, landing and stabilizing over the balls of your feet, or forefoot as I kind of like to call it, because I think the balls of your feet only apply to this part of your foot, and the forefoot for me really kind of, for me in my brain, it like defines this whole part. But yeah, shout out SPLAY, the sponsor. Shout out Inner City. Shout out, who else I want to shout out? Shout out the homies. Shout out people who leave trucks at skate parks, because I came up on these ventures that way. If you're interested in skating these shoes that I've been using for the past I think like 9 videos now, definitely check out the code that I have down in the description. It's Profe Carlos, PROFECARLOS, and it's 10% off. But if you want other shoes and you're looking somewhere to get them, Inner City is the skate shop I ride for, and you can check them out. And I'll put the link in the description for their website and stuff. Nonetheless, appreciate you guys. Till next time.